सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। So we were seeing the part of Adhyasa Bhashya, that is the introduction of Shankaracharya to his commentary on the Brahma Sutras. We were seeing the part where he talks about superimposition as defined by other schools of philosophy. So we saw that he says tam kechit anyatra anya dharma adhyasah iti vadanti kechit tu yatra yad adhyasah tad viveka agraha nibandhano brahma iti अन्ये तु यत्र यद अध्यासः तस्यैव विपरीत धर्मत्व कल्पना आचक्षते सर्वथा अपि तु अन्यस्य अन्य धर्म अवभासतां न व्यभिचरति. So though there are different kinds of perception or different kinds of thought regarding superimposition, all of them agree that superimposition, and none of them transgress in this, that superimposition is taking the nature of one thing to have the attribute of other. Anyasya anya dharma avabhasatam. Sarvatha. In all cases, we see that it is anyasya anya dharma avabhasatam. The cognition of the attributes of something else on the nature of something else. So this is superimposition. So once again we will see what are the things. First is told tam kechit anyatra anya dharma adhyasah. So in that some people say, what do they say? They say that anyatra anya dharma adhyasah, that there is the superimposition adhyasa of anyatra, in another place, of anya dharma, of the attributes of dharma, means attribute of anya, something else. So the attributes of one thing is superimposed on the other. Anyatra means on another thing, it is superimposed. This is the standpoint of Vijnanavadins. So first he says Vijnanavadin. This is the standpoint of Vijnanavadin. Then he talks about then he says, the Sanskrit is Kechittu yatra yad adhyasah tad viveka agraha nibandhano brahma iti. Some others say that in a place that thing is adhyasa or superimposition in a particular substratum or in a particular locus, which comes from what? Tad viveka agraha nibandhano. That comes from viveka agraha nibandhano. That comes from agraha, non-apprehension of viveka, the distinction between the substratum and that which is superimposed on the substratum. So for example, in our stock example, there is rope and snake. This superimposition comes because there is no knowledge or no apprehension between the difference between snake and rope. So that is the idea. And this is the standpoint of whom? This is the standpoint of Prabhakara Mimamsa group. Prabhakara. Then the third thing he says, Anyetu yatra yad adhyasah tasyaiva viparita dharmatva kalpanam achakshate. Other people, still others, they say that superimposition of something is completely understanding the attribute of a particular thing completely opposite to what it actually is. Completely opposite. So, tasya viparita dharmatva kalpanam, the assumption or imagination of completely viparita, opposite dharma attributes. So this is the standpoint of, they are the Nayayikas, logicians. You can say that they are logicians. And he says sarvathapi, but in all cases, what happens? Sarvathapi tu anyasya anya dharma avabhasatam na vyabhicharati. That in all cases, nowhere does it fail, nowhere does it transgress what? That anyasya anya dharma avabhasatam. That one thing, the attribute of one thing is superimposed on the other. So these are the different things he says. Now you see Shankaracharya, as I told you in the beginning itself, Brahma Sutra is a polemical text. It is meant for analyzing the Upanishadic statements. And Shankaracharya does not spend much time in formalities. He has given up Mangalacharana. He has, traditionalists will say that he has actually put Mangalacharana itself in the prose. He begins straight away. He comes to the point. He talks about superimposition. And he begins with an objection against superimposition. You see, the text itself, if you put the Sanskrit text together, it is not a big text. Adhyasa Bhashya is not a big text. But the brilliance of the text is marvelous. So, he begins with an objection to the very existence or very positing of superimposition. If at all we should say that there is superimposition, whether there is superimposition, why should we bring this superimposition? Then he negates that objection. And immediately after negating the objection, he gives us a definition of superimposition. And after giving the definition, what is the next thing he does? First he gives the opposition, second he negates the opposition, third he gives the definition, and in the very fourth step he gives us a summary idea of other philosophical schools and what they think about superimposition. So thereby Shankaracharya, we should understand, the opposition said that there is no superimposition. Shankaracharya said that there is superimposition, and this is what I define it as. And then in Shankaracharya's third step, he says, because the first step was that of the opponent. So in Shankaracharya's third step, he says that, you see, this is not me alone who is telling like this. There are other people also with whom I do not concur in other things. I don't agree on other things. I don't concur on other things. But as far as superimposition is concerned, even they are saying the same thing. So if so many people are saying the same thing, definitely superimposition should be there. The master stroke. So if there are two parties who are totally opposite and one party says that, this even you agree. That is the, in argument, that is the master stroke. Even you would agree that this is correct. So he says he is bringing Vijnanavada, means Buddhist philosophy, and he is bringing Nayayikas, logicians, and he is bringing Mimamsa, everything. So we should understand that he is now becoming an unbiased philosopher who now, for this particular sentence or this particular part of the Adhyasa Bhashya, Shankaracharya is not claiming his stand as Advaita Vedanti. He is just saying that, you see, I am here to prove that superimposition exists. Now, superimposition, Shankaracharya calls it Adhyasa, but many schools would call that as Khyati. Khyati. What is Khyati? Khyati means actually cognition. Khyati means cognition. Khyati means cognition, to cognize. And the process is called Khyati. So cognition. Now if Khyati is cognition, but here we are using it for wrong cognition. We are using it for erroneous cognition. So philosophers use this word Khyati Vada. Vada means theory. So the theory of error, you can translate it as theory of error, Khyati Vada. And so this theory of error is basically the theory of illusion or theory of superimposition. And so in tradition there is a couplet, there is a verse which is popular. It says Atma Khyati Asat Khyati Akhyati Khyatiranyata Tatha Anirvachaniya Khyati Iti Etat Khyati Panchakam. So there are 5 types of Khyati. There are 5 types of Khyati, or there are 5 types of illusion. Atma Khyati Asat Khyati Akhyati Khyatiranyata Tatha Anirvachaniya Khyati Iti Etat Khyati Panchakam. In a book it is there, on 69 page it is there. So what are the different types of Khyati? First Khyati is Atma Khyati. Atma Khyati. That is Vijnanavada's standpoint. Vijnanavadins are a school of Buddhist philosophy. They say Atma Khyati. That means the erroneous perception of Atma. Then Asat Khyati, Shunyavadins. Then Akhyati, they are Prabhavkara Mimamsa. And Anyatha Khyati, that is logicians, Nayayikas. Anirvachaniya Khyati, Advaita Vedanta. Anirvachaniya means that cannot be explained. Now, we will take each one of the standpoints one by one. Separately we will study. So the first standpoint is Anyatra Anyadharma Adhyasah iti vadanti. That is Anyatra Anyadharma Adhyasah. On some other place or locus, Anyadharma Adhyasah. Adhyasah, superimposition of dharma, attributes of something else. So superimposing the attributes of something else on some other place other than that thing. That is called this. So that is called Atma Khyati. Atma Khyati. Now what does Atma Khyati mean? Atma Khyati is, in philosophy, there are various branches of philosophy, and broadly we understand Eastern philosophy, Western philosophy, etc. But even that is a very simplistic classification. In that also there are different types of philosophies. There are various schools. So one thing in philosophy which has become, I would say, rather popular post World War II, and this is discussed mostly in postmodern philosophy or post-structural thought. We call it post-structural or postmodern thought. What is it? Othering, the other. And there is a philosopher, Western philosopher by name Emmanuel Levinas. Emmanuel Levinas. So he is credited with giving this philosophy of the other. The other. So what is the other? Other means which is separate from me, which is always the other. Now the core of Advaita Vedanta is in establishing that there is no other. I'm not going into the nuances and the intricacies of these philosophies, but I'm telling you in plain terms that the core of Vedanta is to get rid of Dvaita. What is Advaita? Advaita is where you understand that there is no Dvaita. No Dvaita, non-dualism. Some people translate it as monism, but the accurate translation is not monism. Accurate translation is Advaita. That means can have many meanings according to Sanskrit grammar. In this context, it will be not to. So you see, not to. Whereas, and duality is always seen in a lower right in all the Advaitic texts. According to Advaita Vedanta, the goal is Jiva Brahma Aikya, to realize this, that the unity of Atman and Brahman. It is the thing. And the other is always negated. Now, so the problem is when you see your own consciousness as the other, when you see your own consciousness as external. So instead of understanding that you are the consciousness, you think consciousness of something as external from you. That is the problem. Even if you see religion, the gradual evolution of religion, you see even in one's own life, you see that somebody is going and worshipping a statue. Why is that person worshipping a statue? Because that person thinks, she or he thinks, that the statue has got some power, or the statue can give me some power. Not the statue itself, means statue denotes, symbolizes some power which is external to me. Nobody will actually go and worship a statue made of stone. Everybody is too intelligent for that, particularly in our age of smartphones. Everybody knows that this is stone. But they do what is called in Hindu tradition, Sanatana Dharma tradition, what is called Prana Pratishtha. So we actually infuse some energy into the statue, whatever it is made up of, material of the material the statue is made up of. We infuse some energy, or we symbolize that this statue is the symbol or representation of some external power. So the problem starts with externalization of that power. Okay, and what is that power? That power is consciousness. How am I different from consciousness? Advaita Vedanta says, no, you are not. You are not different from consciousness. So here, Buddhist Vijnanavadins, they say Atma Khyati. That means wrongly understanding Atman to be external. That is what it means. Atma Khyati means erroneous understanding. Khyati means false knowledge. It's an oxymoron. Knowledge, if it is false, it is no knowledge. But that is how it is. You see, all knowledge of our lifetime is all false. Because knowledge should give you solution. Our knowledge does not give us solution. It only adds to the problem. Our knowledge does not give us happiness. It does not end our suffering. It only increases suffering. So, something goes wrong to some device, that's all. Your suffering has started. So, that is why this is not true knowledge. So, Atma Khyati means erroneous cognition of the Atman as external to oneself. Atma Khyati. Atma Khyati. Now, we have to first understand some things about this Atma Khyati. Now, according to Vijnanavada, the school of philosophy according to Vijnanavada, which comes under Buddhist philosophies, only the consciousness or the cognition made by consciousness or Atman, that is the only reality. Okay, and all other realities, they are not existing. You see, when an Advaita Vedantin says that Maya is there, it means not that Maya is not existing. It means Maya is not real. Maya is not real. It is Asat. It is not real. But I will not say, an Advaita Vedantin will not say that it is not existing. So the other day also we saw examples of something which is not existing, like Shashashringa, hair, horn of hare or rabbit, Akasha Kusuma, flower in sky. So these things are Alika. Alika means non-existent. They are never existing. Never they existed, never will they exist. Non-existent. Alika. How will you see flower in sky? It is not possible. You may see some cloud formation, but there can be no flower in sky. So Vijnana means what? Cognition. Vijnana means cognition. Vijnana Vadin means those who posit the reality of only cognition. According to them, only consciousness or cognition exists. All other things which are external don't exist at all. So Advaita Vedanti will not say like that. Advaita Vedanta say that it exists, but it is Maya, because I am unable to explain to you why it exists. If you come and tell me that everything is good, but you see, for the past 2 days I have stomachache, what do you say about this? So I have nothing to say about this. Why I know Advaita Vedantin has got anything to say about this? Stomachache is stomachache. As long as you have got stomachache, you have stomachache. But you know that it is unreal. But stomachache is there nonetheless. You see, Totapuri of all people, who, when he saw a Brahma Daitya, he said, "Oh, who are you?" He said, "I am a Brahma Daitya." Means a Brahmin. When a person who is a spiritual aspirant, when that person is unable to keep up the discipline of spiritual life and dies, then that person does not get a next body. So as punishment, some days he has to stay in the ghost form. So that person is called Brahma Daitya. Now that Brahma Daitya came, and so it's a ghost basically. So everybody would have been afraid. So some people who are eating cakes and all, they would have got afraid and all that. They would have run and all that. But nothing of that sort happened with Totapuri. He said, "Oh, you are Brahma Daitya. You are also, everything is Brahman. So there is no difference between Brahman and you and me. So you also sit and do meditation." He told Brahma Daitya. But that Totapuri, when he got stomachache, he wanted to commit suicide because this body is now no more of any use. So he was going to commit suicide in Ganga. So you see, when that stomachache is there, this person knows that only Brahman is, everything he knows. But when that stomachache is there, that is Maya. So Advaita Vedantin will not say that it is not there. But Vijnanavadin does say that the external reality does not exist. So whatever I see is because of ignorance. And why does that happen? Now there is a big philosophy behind that. Of course, that is why it is called a philosophy. There is some philosophy. He says the Vijnanavadin, that is the follower of Vijnanavada, that person will say that, you see, I see the external reality because there is something called idanta. Idam ta means ness. Ta means ness. Gotva we say, like cowness. So there is Gotva means cowness, the notion of cow. So idanta means thisness. Idam means this. So because of this thisness, the vasanas are projected, and the vasanas project this thisness on external reality. Vasana means the samskaras, latent tendencies. The samskaras or vasanas, they which are created by, again they also say beginningless. Avidya, we don't know when it began, we don't know. So these people are all very logical, you see. Otherwise some people will say that it all began on a particular day and all that. And scientists also, they will say all science, this science and all that, but they will say it all began with a Big Bang. So before Big Bang what? They are all illogical. So the most logical stance would be to say that I don't know when it began. I don't know when it began. Beginningless, anadi. Anadi avidya. So this avidya, which is anadi, because of that you have this vasana, and because of vasana you give a idanta, thisness, a quality, dharma or attribute of thisness to external reality. So you see this book, this house, this person, everything is this for you. And because you see everything as this, so this, all this, whichever can be seen as this, does not exist. This is the philosophy of Vijnanavadin. This is the philosophy of Vijnanavadin. So whatever you see does not exist. And it is alikam bahya vastu. Bahya vastu means external object. It is alikam. It is non-existent. Non-existent. So the silver which you are seeing on shell is not existing at all. The silver is not existing at all. Neither the shell also is not existing. That is the point. Shell also is not existing. Silver also is not existing. Shell also is not existing. Okay, we will stop here. We'll continue from here tomorrow. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.